Okay, so I know I've already done a video about this, but now I actually have the product. Let's have a look at it. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I am Joe Finley, and today we are unboxing the Razer Stream Controller and answering some questions that you guys had from my previous video. All right, so let's open this bad boy up. Oh, it's that slide thing. I took the stickers off ahead of time, but I have not opened this box yet. You can see right on it, as we talked about before, powered by Loop Deck. It's all over the place. It's not pretending to be anything else. When we open, it's got nice reusable material. A pretty unboxing. So we take that out, and we can see, again, nice and thin. Everything's the same. Razer instead of Loop Deck. Let's do a peel. Oh, I liked that little last, like, oh, there's plastic all around. What a gift. Thank you, Razer. Oh, interrupted. Behold. But there's that. We have some Razer documentation, and we've got our USB cable. I really like the USB cables for these, actually. It's got that nice 90-degree USB-C cable, Razer branded, of course. It's a nice braided cable, and the stand. So we talked about this before. It's a very kind of cheapy-chintzy stand, but it does work. So you just fit those little circles into the spots there, and then just kind of snap it into place. But as I said before, it is an identical model of the original. And there's your proof. All right, so we're gonna get this thing plugged in. Now, I shouldn't have to do anything extra with it. It should just recognize as a new device within my Loop Deck software, because I already had a Loop Deck. If you didn't, obviously you'd have to download the software first and follow all of the necessary steps. That literally took 2 seconds. I plugged it in, Loop Deck instantly recognized it, and we're ready to rock and roll. But a couple of questions did come up during my last video about this, and they are worth answering. The first of which was actually kind of an interesting one, a little bit of a thought exercise. How can you use the Razer Stream Controller as a sound pad and something that you can record onto Audacity? And they specifically said Audacity, so this is how we're going to look into it. Okay, so the first thing you want to do, you're going to want someplace to actually have a sound pad to activate. So we're just going to go in here. I'm going to go into under the workspaces here, and I'm going to create a new one. And so we're going to just call it sound pad, and okay. And now we need to assign it to one of the buttons on here so we can actually get to it. And now we're going to take that sound pad and we're going to drag it onto one of the unused buttons. Those are the ones that aren't highlighted. And I'm going to just drag it onto number 2. And now it's highlighted, and you can see it actually lit up here on the board as well. So now when I hit 2, I'm in that proper workspace. So now I have all of this space here, and I can assign actions to any of these individual buttons or the knobs. So now all we got to do is add some sound. So we can just click on one of these buttons really quick, and then here's some quick options for you to add. So you can just add a sound from here. The other way you could do it is by going over here and then finding sound here and then dragging that onto the button. So we'll do the fast way, and then it has all of your info here. So let's do one called subscribe. Now we need a path, so I have to find the file. It's now been added. We select an output. This is where it's going to become important for us. And we're going to select a place from which it is going to play. Because I have a Beacon Mix Create, it's really easy for me to just add it to one of my sources on here. We're going to discuss some alternative options to get it to Audacity for you in a little bit. And I'm just going to set it to System for Beacon Mix Create. And then I'm going to click Create. There, and now the button exists as such. Now let's test it and see what it's like. Why don't you hit like and subscribe while you're watching this video? Why don't you hit like and subscribe while you're watching this video? I mean, it's really good advice. Now we can add another one really quick, so we'll do that from this side, and this time we're gonna select here, we're gonna drag it on top of there, and we're gonna do another new sound action. So this time we're gonna call it Twitch, and now we got another one. You should follow me on Twitch, twitch.tv/MiscastJoe. Now, if we fast forward time just a little bit, okay, I filled up the sound pad, and you can actually do multiple pages. So you can click here to add a new page, and then you can add more and more. And then to navigate the pages, you can literally just swipe through them on the touch screen. But we have some stuff up here now, so now we have some more options, so I can hit. Most of these I got off of that Loop Deck sound pack that exists. You can get more. You can find sound effects anywhere or any old place, and, you know. And my favorite. And if you're thinking, is there some kind of limit to how long these can be? There doesn't seem to be the case. If there is a limit, I haven't found it yet. So if I hit my music button here, this is just a file that I recorded for like 10 minutes, and it'll play all the way through. Now, if I want it to be finished, I can just hit it again. and it'll stop. So it's a play and stop situation. Within the software itself too, you can set the volume. So if you find that they're coming in too loud when you trigger them, you can bring them down a little bit here individually, so you can kind of balance them out that way. And if you don't like the icons that they automatically create, you can click on the little icon thing here, and you can bring up the icon library that you have. You can download all kinds of different icon packs and stuff like that in the marketplace, but also you can bring in your own personal file and make that the logo instead. If I click save, it shows up down there. So anything you want, you can make happen on here. I've shown one quick way to get all of this out to Audacity is by having a mixer. So I recommend the Beacon Mix Create for this sort of thing. It is a absolute favorite of mine. You can also utilize things, so depending on what microphone you have, this is going to change things. So if you have any microphone that has any kind of software, so just the Beacon mic itself has the same software that the Beacon Mix Create has, you can assign the output of this sound pad to one of the sources for that. Same with Elgato's Wavelength software. So if you have the Wave XLR or you have one of the Wave mics, if you have the Razer Siren V2 Pro also, that will also do the trick. Aside from that, if you don't have any of those, you have no intention of getting any of those soon, you're probably going to have to go through Voicemeeter. Is going to be the best way to go about it if you want to combine your voice and this sound pad onto Audacity. There's no way in Audacity to select anything but one of these outputs. Now, the good news is when you have a mixer, you have tons of different outputs that you can send. But if you're just using your mic, you can only send your mic. If you're just using your sound pad, whatever source you've applied all your sounds to, that can be the only thing you go in. So you use something like Voicemeeter. I'm not an expert on it, but it is basically a big virtual mixer. It gives you all the virtual sources that you need, and then you can assign it to one of those. You can assign your microphone to another one, and then the output of Voicemeeter would be what you would put into here. So I hope that answers your question. I hope that you weren't hoping I'd give you a better answer than Voicemeeter or buy something, but that's essentially all you can really do with that. And the most important question is, for somebody who's on the fence between this and the Stream Deck, which one should I buy? And my answer really hasn't changed since I did kind of a Loop Deck versus Stream Deck video a ways back. What are you using it for? The Stream Deck has an overall easier user interface, but Loop Deck / Razer, their software has come leaps and bounds since I did that first video. It's so much easier now, it's so much more intuitive, and there's so many things you can do with it. The Stream Deck, I think people are just kind of used to it. It hasn't changed a ton since its inception. It's obviously gotten better. There's been a lot of improvements, but overall, just kind of what you see when you're looking at it, you know, it's not foreign to you when you get one upgrade to the next. Plus, they have a lot of built-in tools specifically for streaming. They have a lot of controls and compatibilities very specific to the streamer. Being an Elgato product, obviously, it is compatible with all things Elgato. You can put in controls for your Elgato key light, for any Elgato-based microphone, so either the Wave or the Wave XLR. You can control aspects of your camera too. If you're using an Elgato capture card, you can use the 4K capture utility and set capture buttons in there. Plus all of the native and third-party controls for OBS, Streamlabs, and things like that. But the Razer Stream Controller and the Loop Deck software is actually catching up here. They're starting to get more and more things that they're compatible with. You can now control your Philips Hue lights with them. You can control things like Spotify and all those other things. But it also has a lot of preset profiles, like I was talking about, for a number of different pieces of software. Anything from video, audio, or photo editing software. What's interesting, they also have controls for Elgato lights. They have control plugin for the Go XLR and things like Voicemeeter and Voice Mod. Stream Deck also has Voice Mod, but I don't think that they have Voicemeeter on there. So I think my overall answer is, if you're going to use it for more than just streaming, if you want to use it for editing, if you want to use it for audio and things like that, then the Razer Stream Controller might just be the answer for you. It's a million times easier to use than it was when I got it as the Loop Deck Live almost a year ago. The knobs open up a whole new realm of controls for you that you can do really quickly just by turns or clicks in the knob. So you have a lot of extra buttons at your fingertips. And Loop Deck's partnership with Razer only ensures that things are going to continue to improve in terms of compatibility and things like that. It's obviously going to have compatibility with more Razer products. The new version of the Loop Deck software that's going to be available come launch of the product will have controls for Razer's Keylight Chroma. You can probably expect a lot more Synapse related controls to show up in the near future. And being such a big name in the industry, you can bet that other people are going to come on and partner with them to make more and more items compatible. Now, if you're just using this for streaming and nothing else, and you don't want to kind of overcomplicate your life, then the Stream Deck is probably still the way to go. First, I like the tactile feel of actually pressing in a button to get a response instead of hitting a touch screen. There is haptic feedback on the Razer Stream Controller, but it's that click of a button, just you can feel it, and when you kind of reach over midstream and you're doing that, you know you've hit in the button and that you've hit the right button. And on top of all that, even if you do want to do a little bit of editing or something like that, you can still set up macros and create those as buttons on the Stream Deck. It just takes a little bit more time. So it'll take you a little while to set up kind of your ideal profile for any kind of editing software, but you could at least have your favorite commands right at your fingertips still. And another advantage that Stream Deck has just due to time is they have access to a number of different plugins for everything in and outside of content creator productivity. They have things that allow you to control camera sliders and dollies. They have things that'll let you know what the status of your Tesla is, if it's plugged in, and what its charge status and things like that is. It's endless. You just scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll. There are a virtual endless number of options in there for you. So I hope that helped answer your question. Down below, I'll have links to the Stream Deck. They are affiliate links, but if you happen to buy one using the link, it does help the channel out. It helps me build and maintain all of this. And if you're watching this after the Razer Stream Controller has finally been released, I'll have a link down there for it as well. But just as of the release of this video, it's still not out yet. It won't be out until fall of 2022. But I sure hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to hit the like and subscribe down below. Hit that bell so you know when I have new videos. If you want to see a couple of other videos I've done, check out these ones right here. And until next time, gang, let's get to work.